This is Mac OS Ken.
Talk of shrinking iPhone production, better days ahead for Apple services in the App Store, and Apple TV Plus greenlights more Momoa. It is Tuesday, the 5th of April, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Kanji, device management for your Apple environment. Learn more at kanji.io/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Trade Coffee. Let me tell you about one of the roasts they sent me recently. The Holmes Blend is a medium dark roast from Sparrow's Coffee in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Rich, full-bodied, and extra dark, the description says this one reminds us of a campfire, maybe on the beach of one of the Great Lakes it's named for. That's Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior, Homes. Holmes. It's been great. Now, if you're not in that area, how are you going to find this roast? That's what's great about Trade Coffee. Take their quiz and they will find a great coffee for you that you'd probably never find on your own. Land on one you love and you can buy another bag, start a subscription, try other coffees from the same roaster, or let Trade keep finding more coffees for you. The ones they picked for me have been great. If you take joy in your coffee, you should give it a try. Right now, Trade is offering new subscribers a total of $30 off your first order plus free shipping when you go to drinktrade.com/macOSKen. That is more than 40 cups of coffee for free. Get started by taking their quiz at drinktrade.com/macOSKen and let Trade find you a coffee you'll love. That's drinktrade.com/macOSKen for $30 off. Another financial analyst has gone all gloom and doom on smaller form factor iPhones. Seeking Alpha has Loop Capital analyst John Donovan beating up hard on the iPhone 12 mini, iPhone 13 mini, and the very recently released third-generation iPhone SE. He thinks Apple has cut or is cutting production of its most budget-friendly phone by 20 million units. Donovan's not the only one to make such claims. Last week, both the Japanese business publication Nikkei and TF International analyst Ming-Chi Kuo reported similar, significant cuts to SE production. Donovan doesn't think iPhone production will be down 20 million, though. He thinks Apple will increase iPhone 13 production by about half that as folks go for bigger phones. As for what is slowing phone sales, Donovan cites the war in Ukraine, supply chain disruptions, and other usual rationale. Really, though, he just thinks people aren't into smaller iPhones. Quoting Seeking Alpha, following the dismal results of the iPhone 12 mini and iPhone 13 mini, Donovan believes that Apple has finally realized that smaller iPhones have limited appeal, and given the wide availability of the iPhone 13, the iPhone SE is unlikely to sell well. And yet, Apple keeps making them. If we assume a major appeal of iPhone SE is its relative affordability, and we agree that inflation and higher fuel prices hurt most the people with least, it may not be as much about whether the phone is popular, but whether the folks at whom it's aimed can or will afford it right now. Or maybe Apple keeps making small amounts of small phones because, while the audience may be smaller, its money still spends. Or maybe Apple's just dumb. Look for things to look better for the App Store soon. Apple 3.0 has a new note from Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani. According to his note, App Store revenue growth was 8% in the month of March, which brings the growth rate to 7% for the March quarter, While the rate of growth remained slow, it was encouraging to see the growth rate move higher in March after 9 straight months of deceleration. We're coming into easier times, though. Remember the phenomenal growth seen by the App Store in 2020 and the warnings about the tough comparisons that was setting up for 2021? Apple's coming out of that year of tough App Store comparisons. That should lead to double-digit growth again, according to Darianani. But here's the other thing. While the App Store is still a big deal for Apple's services segment, it's not the end-all, be-all it once was. According to his note, App Store revenue growth last quarter was about 13%, but growth for the overall services business came in at an impressive 24%. Worth noting, he notes, Apple has called out advertising as the top contributor to their services growth for 2 quarters in a row now. With that in mind, AdRock thinks Apple services can keep delivering high teens growth even if App Store growth stays slow. Mr. Darianani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $210. The latest iPad Air makes battery replacement easier. That is the finding of an iFixit teardown highlighted by Cult of Mac. While it's still difficult to get inside the device, the piece says removing its larger battery pack is a simpler task. According to the report, iFixit discovered during its teardown of Cupertino's latest slate that it now features pull tabs that hold its battery in place. The tabs can be pulled out when necessary, releasing the battery from the shell. The piece says the old way of holding the battery in place involved a ton of glue. The cult figures the change will simplify the battery replacement process. It should also make the new iPad Air more recyclable, according to the report. Police in Western Australia have turned to a bit of Apple tech to help them on their way. iMore has Motorola Solutions saying in a press release that it has kitted cop cars in the region with CarPlay. Wouldn't you think Motorola or the police would have a specialized solution of their own? Well, first of all, they do, and second, no. The specialized solution they have is an application called OneForce Core. According to iMore, Motorola Solutions says the new CarPlay integration is the world's first public safety mobile application to operate within the iPhone-based entertainment system. Now, if you're wondering why they went CarPlay, it seems to have to do with ease of use. The piece has Moto saying when public safety professionals require access to vital life-saving information, it must be as intuitive and frictionless as possible. By leveraging new interactions with familiar technology interfaces such as CarPlay, we remove complexity from the high-stress situations responders face and help them maintain focus on their mission. More news in a moment, but first a word from Kanji, device management for your Apple environment. Kanji is a next-generation platform for centrally securing and managing your Mac, iPhone, iPad, and Apple TV devices. IT teams save countless hours of manual, repetitive work with features like one-click compliance templates and more than 150 pre-built automations, apps, and workflows. So says Kanji co-founder and CEO Adam Pettit in a Forbes piece I read earlier this week. He and his co-founders actually had another business deploying Apple hardware. Kinda cool, except it was a lot of repetitive, hands-on stuff. So they sold that company and built Kanji, leveraging smart software to accelerate the work. Kanji puts control of your Apple deployment in your hands without putting the hardware in your hands. If maintaining all of your Apple gear is driving you or your IT people to the brink, it is time to give Kanji a try. Go to kanji.io/macOSKen for a free demo and trial. That's KANDJI, kanji.io/macOSKen. Find out why companies like Segment, Lacework, Allbirds, and others use Kanji for zero-touch Apple device management. KANDJI, again, that is kanji.io/macOSKen. Your free demo and trial are waiting at kanji.io/macOSKen. Apple's putting the finishing touches on its largest store in South Korea. Teased by Apple last month, a piece this week from Apple Insider says Apple Myeongdong in Seoul is set to open this Saturday, the 9th of April, at 10 a.m. local time. The company updated the location's website with that information and other information over the weekend. Information like the anti-coronavirus measures that will be required. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the piece says Apple is applying safety procedures to the opening, making in-store activities only available for those who register beforehand. Apple TV Plus is going for more Momoa. Variety says C-star Jason Momoa is set to co-write and star in a new series for the Cupertino streamer. Called Chief of War, the piece says the series follows the story of the unification and colonization of Hawaii from an indigenous point of view. Thomas Pa Sabet is Momoa's co-writer on the series. Both also serve as executive producers, according to Variety, along with a host of other people. Momoa and Pa Sabet have worked together before, having co-written the story for the upcoming feature The Last Manhunt. Momoa was also lead in the feature Braven, on which Pa Sabet wrote. As for the new series, Variety says it'll mark Momoa's first writing for television. Apple has greenlit an 8-episode order. No word on when it'll be seen on the screen. Think Harrison Ford is too big for the small screen? Well, it is worth noting that TVs have gotten bigger. Also, with the advent of streaming services and the huge money spent by them, television has changed. All of which is a long way of saying Indiana Solo has signed on for a series with Apple TV+. Variety says the old Blade Runner will play a shrink in the Jason Segel-led series Shrinking. According to the report, Shrinking follows Jimmy, played by Segel, a grieving therapist who starts to break the rules and tell his clients exactly what he thinks. Ignoring his training and ethics, he finds himself making huge, tumultuous changes to people's lives, including his own. Ford is set to play Dr. Phil Rhodes, described in the piece as a down-to-earth, sharp-as-a-tack, blue-collar shrink, and mentor to Segel's Jimmy. Fiercely independent, Variety says Ford's character has recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's, which forces him out of his comfort zone as he grapples with intrusive friends, his estranged family, and his legacy. It is Ford's first regular role on TV, and it sounds like he's picked a decent show to start. Segel will serve as a writer on the series, along with Bill Lawrence, co-creator of the Apple TV Plus smash Ted Lasso, and Brett Goldstein, actor, writer, and co-executive producer on the Apple TV Plus smash Ted Lasso. West Side Story's Rachel Zegler is headed to Apple TV Plus. Well, anyway, her voice is. Deadline says Steven Spielberg's Maria has signed on to voice Princess Elian, the lead in the Skydance Animation Apple TV Plus animated musical Spellbound. According to the piece, Elian is the tenacious princess who must go on a daring quest to save her family and kingdom after a mysterious spell transforms her parents into monsters and threatens to cover the kingdom in darkness forever. Busy year for Zegler. IMDb says Spellbound is expected this November. If so, that'll hit close to her turn in DC's Shazam! Fury of the Gods. IMDb says that is expected in December. Both precede the live-action Snow White she's doing for Disney. IMDb has that expected sometime in 2023. If Spellbound does land by year's end, it'll be a quick start for the Apple Skydance partnership. The pair's first animated feature, Luck, is set to premiere on the 5th of August. And finally today, CODA's victory lap is taking it across the pond. iMore says the Apple TV Plus film, an Oscar winner for Best Picture, is set up for a limited run in UK theaters. Theatras. The piece cites a report from Screen Daily that makes little sense to me personally, partly because it's an industry site and partly because that industry seems to work differently in the United Kingdom. According to the Post, the film will return to cinemas on the 8th of April and is available to book now. BFI Distribution has taken 46 bookings already, with more expected. 32 of these so far are for the April 8th date. See? Sort of makes sense, but only sort of. One thing that stays constant, the report says all screenings will be presented with subtitles for the deaf and those experiencing hearing loss. If you live in the UK and want to see it on the big screen, check your local listings or buy a really big TV. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Trade Coffee. Get $30 off your first order plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Kanji, device management for your Apple environment. Learn more at KANDJI kanji.io/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.